Welcome back into the show. Time for some 8-1 for your wealth. Join with us now. We've got some folks from Steinbacher, Goodall Yurchak. We've got attorney and partner Landon Hodges and Kristen Doherty, who you've seen here before, who is the long-term care planner and certified Medicaid planner over there. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. Okay, Kristen, kind of lay the land here for folks that maybe haven't heard of Steinbacher, Goodall Yurchak. What you guys focus on, kind of that second portion, second half of people's lives. That's where you come into play.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Morgan. We really focus on planning for the second half of life. That can really be a lot of different areas. It can be planning for death. It could be planning for your life. It can be special needs planning if you have a loved one or you are somebody who has a special needs or disability. It can be estate planning, putting together powers of attorneys, last will and testaments. It could be planning for dementia. It could be planning if you need care now or you're just planning, trying to put a plan in place for in the future. A lot of what we do too is also what we call wealth protection planning, which I know we're going to spend a little time talking about because it's something that we focus on. We do a lot of, but we don't talk about as much because we really always focus on the dementia and care needs.
Yeah, you've covered a lot of different topics during your time here on the show, and you guys are located a little bit of everywhere, so you can help. You've got a wide spectrum of help and resources all throughout Pennsylvania, really.
Yeah, we have 7 office locations now for central and northeastern Pennsylvania. So we are just growing, and it's really exciting because there really is a need for what we do. And that's really where we value ourselves, that we can provide a service that is so necessary. So many people are lost when they're planning for their second half of life because, you know, there's lots of books, you can Google things, but there's nothing really specific to your situation. And that's where we come in. You know, we're going to take your situation and we're going to figure out what you really need and what's really going to help you.
Yeah, sometimes it's better just to call up, you know, get the answer right there on the phone. Landon, that's kind of where you come into play too. When we're talking about, we see your billboards, don't go broke in a nursing home, right? Protecting those assets, protecting your wealth, and you know what that looks like when you're covering the cost of your care as well.
Oh, absolutely, and central to what we do is the idea that no person is the same and no plan is the same. So of course we're going to be looking out for what the cost of long-term care could be and the impact that has on families. But in our wealth protection department, we're also prepared to help families through more complex or more specific issues such as tax planning, business succession planning, or generational planning for folks that have, whether it's generational wealth or the family farm. We are able to walk clients through the questions of, if you tried to avoid one tax, there might be another one that you're opening yourself up for. And I know we had a guest earlier that was talking about inheritance tax on real estate. So there's a lot of blind spots there, and we're prepared all across the state to be able to help families navigate these questions and fine-tune a plan that can be specific to that client's situation.
Okay, lots of things to kind of comb through. What is the best, when people are reaching out for you guys, what kind of things, where do you typically start? You know, as far as maybe having certain documents or information, is there some advice that you have for folks before they give you that call, maybe to have ready to go?
Just, I guess my general advice would be to have a general idea of what you want, but don't be too specific.
Yeah.
If we can narrow it down to a goal, whether that's a general goal or you come into, you know, the idea that I want to protect the family farm, something general. If you do too much self-guided research, you might be looking at state-specific things that don't apply to Pennsylvania. Just generally know what you want, and even if not, you know you need to get something done. So give us a call and we can help navigate you regardless of where you are in the process already.
Because you know about some of those advantages, disadvantages that people have to be aware of, you know?
Oh, absolutely, and for every action there's pros and cons, equal and opposite reactions, and you got to just be aware of what your plan A would be and the plan B that would follow if things don't go as planned.
Okay, yes, very good stuff. So what else, let's see, I guess, Kristen, when you guys are doing this type of planning, I mean, there's so many different spectrums, people might not know where to start. I guess it's a little bit overwhelming, or they feel like maybe it's too late.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good point, Morgan, because people do think it's too late. A lot of what I do every day is really focusing on people who need care right now, or we know it's looming, it's coming. And most people think, well, I didn't plan 5 years ahead of time. They sometimes hear 3 years, 7 years.
Yeah.
You know, it's too late. I can't do anything at this point. That's actually not true. You know, we always want to plan ahead. That's always so important because we can really talk to you about what your goals are, what that looks like. But if you didn't plan ahead, that doesn't mean there's nothing that can be done. There's still ways to make sure that your wishes are followed through, that your wishes are known, that we can still protect assets, make sure that you get the care that you deserve, that you need to receive, you know, really encompassing all of that. And that goes along with, you know, whether you have a house in a bank account with $2,000 or you have $5 million, right? Like there's so many different caveats there, and people think, you know, there's so many misconceptions. Like I didn't plan ahead, I can't do anything. I have too much money, it's not worth trying to do anything. I don't have any money, I shouldn't do anything. All of those aren't true, you know, because even if you just have a house, that's something to protect, right? That's something to consider. If you have $5 million, care cost is $12,000 a month on average. You know, if you need care for a long time, that's all going to be gone. You know, if you have a business and you want to make sure that legacy goes on to your family, we have to put a plan in place. So all of the things that we do for your second half of life tie together, even though like Landon mentioned, a lot of times people are very like, this is what I want to focus on. And that's great. And we will focus on that and we will work with you on that. But there's probably some other things we're going to bring up too that are equally as important.
Yeah, things they don't even think about. That's where you guys, you're like, okay, well, did you think of this? Did you think of that? And you don't have to just feel so stuck.
Right.
And that's kind of, I think, having those options, and I mean, you guys know where to go from there and how to direct people. Do you have a specific example of kind of where your team has really helped, you know, a family or a certain situation kind of come through?
Yeah, and I can give an example, Landon, I'll pass it to you then too. But you know, families, one of the biggest things I feel really passionate about is spousal situations. So regardless of finances, put them aside. One spouse needs care and the other doesn't. That is such a scary time. It's overwhelming. You know, many people have been married for years and years and years, never been apart for one day, and now we're placing, you know, their spouse. So, you know, emotionally, we're there to help guide them through that. You know, financially, we can figure out what that looks like. But just making sure they have a support system, right? Because people feel really alone. They know Jane down the street had something similar happen to her, but maybe they don't want to talk about it. You know, maybe they feel like they can't talk about it. So just being there to help support families through that process is just so important for our office. And that's why, you know, we have the teams we do. We have the attorneys, we have the certified Medicaid planners, we have social workers. We have so many professionals on our team to make sure we can really help. It's not just those legal documents, it's everything that goes along.
Because people don't typically want to think about these things.
They don't. They don't.
So you guys have to do it, you know, help us and do it for them.
Yeah.
And part of the reason I do this is for the peace of mind. You know, people come into our office with whatever's painting, whatever they're going through at the time, whether it's the death of a loved one or care needs have arisen, and to be able to sit down with somebody and say, we can have a plan to get through this is very valuable to folks, and that's really what drives me to continue doing this. And Kristen works in a lot of spousal situations, and especially in our Northern Tier office, I work with a lot of clients up there, and protecting the family farm. Sometimes that is, I know I've mentioned that a couple of times, that is the major asset for a lot of families. And I had a situation not long ago where somebody had passed away, they had done nothing, but the family was very motivated to see what can they do to prevent this mess in the future. We were able to resolve the estate situation for the person that was deceased, get that property into a structure that would allow that family to couple the gas rights with the land for generations to come and keep it under common ownership so that we don't have these issues in the future of passing generation to generation.
I have one in my family, so I get it. Yeah, when you've got a lot of members at play here, you guys kind of have to comb through that to make sure everybody's happy as best you can. 10
people on one deed is not a workable situation. So.
Yeah, not an easy thing to do. And like what you said too, I mean, you can't freeze time, unfortunately, getting older. It's not fun, but we do, and you have to plan for those things and for the people around us too. You know, taking care of people and, you know, making sure you're set up in the best way. Yeah,
Absolutely.
well, if people are watching this, they want to reach out to your team. Again, you've got locations everywhere, so you're able to pick up the phone, make that call, ask the question. What's the best way to reach you guys?
You can call our office at 1-800-351-8334. They can connect you to whichever office you're closest with. We're also on Facebook at SGY Law or PAElderCouncil.com.
Okay, very good stuff. Well, thank you guys so much for stopping by.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks for having us.
We appreciate your expertise. All right, coming up on the show, we've got this.